You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, Jim Chester here. Kaci Batzel is over there. Hopefully I said her last name properly because we just had this big talk about last names and how last names are sometimes so challenging. And everybody has their own pronunciation for their own name. And if you don't say it right, they give you the stink eye. So I said her last name properly. I am here in Grand Junction, the Grand Valley, supporting Palmer Rugby. I am on the western slope of this state where I like to say no one lives. And you are in Pennsylvania. On is it the western slope too?
Yeah, I guess it's like kind of southwest part of the state. Close enough.
Where no one lives?
Yeah, it's pretty much middle of nowhere, I've been told.
And you've been practicing now for a whopping 7 months.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about what life has been like since you transitioned from getting capped to the point now that you're actually out there, hands-on people joining the workforce of the chiropractic community.
Absolutely. So it's been a journey, definitely a journey. You know, you get your diploma, you head home and you think, okay, this is going to be great. I'm going to have my doors open in 6 months. And a lot of times that's not the case. Everything takes a little bit longer than what you think. So after a lot of trial and error, finally got the doors up and running. And, you know, I feel like we hit the ground running on this. And you know, every day is interesting. I'm still learning a lot about this whole process, especially the business end of things. But I'm pretty stoked about where I'm at and how far I've come since then. So
that's cool. That's really cool. So I'm going to ask you today. Our sponsor is over that shoulder right there, Local Gold. They do internet stuff and set up websites and help drive traffic to you. I know that we did a quick questionnaire with you before we went live, and you're not utilizing Local Gold or Presolvent for your services. But now that we've had a conversation on these, you kind of understand the benefits of them, right?
Absolutely. Especially, you know, just a little blow by blow I got from you here. They are very awesome programs. And I think actually once we get off here, I'm going to write all this down so I can actually take a look and do some investigating, which sounds like it's been a little long overdue for me. So.
But, you know, we have very responsive leadership with Matt Walker and the Alumni Trust. And I know that we wouldn't be this position where we are with Palmer Rugby if it wasn't for the responsive leadership of the people that came before you.
Absolutely.
And all of them have somehow given back with their time, talent, or treasure. Let's talk a little bit about, I know that you're fresh in the game, but how are some of the ways that you're actually giving back to the program already?
Good question. So as of now, it's more a lot of like the time end of things as far as commitments. I've been back to, well, it will be all two of the symposiums since I've graduated, including the one coming up next month. And then last year, actually, when I had gone back, Leslie Mitzel, who also graduated in my class with me, we actually sat down with the team, I think it was Thursday evening before the whole symposium kicked off, and had a Q&A session with the girls where they could talk to somebody that has kind of been thrust back into the real world. And, you know, Leslie was, I think she was precepting in an associateship at that time. And I was still in the works of trying to get my office up and running. So, you know, in that aspect, the girls really liked having somebody they could just pick their brains. And, you know, Palmer Rugby's done a lot for all of us, you know, since the time we were students, even now that we're out in the real world as graduates and colleagues and all that good stuff. So once things get a little more established on my end, I'm hoping to give a little bit of the kickback and the monetary end as well.
Yeah, you know, it's always cool for me to meet all walks of life because I think everybody has a very unique story. I think everybody, whether it's the person that gives you your coffee in the morning or the person that collects your payment for whatever it might be, we all have an amazing story. And I think the chiropractic narrative is one that's quite amazing. And let's just talk a little bit about what it means for you to be in your community providing care with your newfound hands and your ability to serve your community.
Absolutely. So, as you kind of alluded to there, I am in South Central Pennsylvania, very, very small town. And probably I'm one of the youngest, if not the youngest practitioners in the couple surrounding counties here. So I think with that, originally I thought my age would be a handicap, fresh grad, not a lot of experience, but coming into things, I've very much been pushing the health and wellness aspect, not just, okay, you come in the door, you have symptoms A, B, and C, snap, crackle, pop, get you straightened up, send you out the door, and you're good to go. There's that whole other paradigm to what we do when we get into the idea of, innate intelligence and this nervous system and how it controls and coordinates everything in the body. And it's really sparked a lot of good conversation in my office, even with patients. And then I'm having people coming back into my office, and it's even sparking conversations out in the community. So at this point, I'm really excited to be bringing this whole new perspective, I guess, on health, wellness, the whole 9 yards here into our small town. So hopefully in the next, 5, 10, 15, 20 years here, we can really start, getting this to be more of a common thing. It's just so cool what we do. I'm very excited to be a part of this, to be honest.
Yeah, I could tell your enthusiasm in our pre-interview chat. I know that you said that you're going to be back to the symposium April 13th and 14th back at the Fountainhead in Davenport, Iowa, which I think is going to be really fun for everybody that's involved out there. Let's talk a little bit about the highlights. I know that there's going to be some dynamic speakers. Maybe you'll learn some stuff from these speakers that have been there the previous years. What has it done for you as a chiropractor being able to be involved with the Rugby Alumni Symposium?
It's been great on a lot of aspects. Like, you can go every year and there's all, like you were saying about the mix of the speakers, you can get a lot of interesting tips, tricks, tidbits, fun research stuff, all things that you can take and apply in your own practice and, your daily routine, and, help give you that little bit of a competitive edge with your quality of care. We're always learning. But then too, the whole aspect of just being in a room with, I don't even know, 50 to 100 like-minded individuals who all are doing the same thing that you're doing with the same goal in mind here. And just being able to network and pick a brain of somebody that you might see passing in the hallway. You never know what you're going to come away from that weekend learning, whether it's from the speakers or whether it's from a conversation you had with a colleague, just, over coffee or something like that.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Close for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic bootcamp, Moveville University, Pure Chiro Notes, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Traction System, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, and Imaging Services. Let's hustle.
Yeah, I think that the dynamic speakers and the fellowship amongst the group is something really, really awe-inspiring for me. And I know that you guys offer this symposium not just for rugby players and rugby family, but it has, I think, 12 hours of CE available for all walks of chiropractic life. So if you guys are a chiropractor out there in the tri-state area or just outside of the area, come there, get your CEs, have some fun, and learn from Deed Harrison, Roberto Monaco, Brad Glowacki, Kevin Herron. Who else is it? We have Fred Schofield. How could I forget Freddie Schofield?
Right.
And Matt Hartenberg. And I think Hartenberg has one of the cooler talks. He's going to be talking about heart rate variability. Yes. And if you guys want to learn about extremity adjusting, we have the Master in Extremities. Mm-hmm. We have the Master of Chiropractic Biophysics. We have a Master in Communication. We have Alan Sokoloff, who's a chiropractor for the Baltimore Ravens that's going to be there, which I think is a huge highlight, being able to rub shoulders with the guy that takes care of NFL players. And I believe Glowacki's going to be talking about concussions. So all things, all aspects, all facets that go back to the one common path of what is that? Chiropractic. It's about taking care of people. And I think that what you guys have this year is very special is you guys have all those speakers that are going to be there. Plus you guys have 2 rugby games.
Yeah, that's always an added perk, right?
And then the big party.
Right. Yeah, you can't forget about that.
I mean, it's all fun. You guys have like the most fun weekend out there to get your CEs, plus the fellowship and the learning opportunities. So now that I've touched on all that fun stuff, what might be some advice that you have for the younger gen of rug or the ruggers out there?
Gotcha. Honestly, I know we chatted about this a little bit, and we kind of hinted on, all the fellowship and just, being in a room with all of these like-minded individuals, whole way from student to, well-experienced grad.
Get a notebook.
Yeah. But honestly, the biggest thing I think, just don't be intimidated and don't be afraid to ask questions. If you have so many people at your fingertips that whole weekend who would love nothing more than to offer you some advice, some tips, some tricks, things that they've learned over the way or over the past few years by, maybe making a mistake or two themselves. There's so much that you can learn from having these conversations. And I would say most, if not all of the people there would be more than happy to talk to you about any of this. So, I wish I would have done more of that myself now looking back.
Well, it even goes full circle for our pre-interview chat.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know the benefits of Presolvent or Local Gold,
Right.
And here we are having a conversation that might change the trajectory of how you get more influence in the marketing aspects of your practice.
Absolutely.
Plus, they continuously give back to the program.
Yeah, it's really a win-win.
And I think that finding businesses that are congruent with the chiropractic profession that give back to Palmer Rugby is something about the leadership perspective of the people that are there supporting Palmer, not only for the rugby aspect, but for the future of chiropractic.
Absolutely.
And creating the future of chiropractic is something I'm really interested in because I know that you guys are the doctors of the future. But like they say sometimes now, you guys are the doctors of the present too.
Absolutely.
And, the old, personified idea, one spine at a time. Well, it's one chiropractor at a time. And we have to support our brothers and sisters that are chiropractors because if one chiropractor falls out of the profession, that means that we have another desert out there without a chiropractor practicing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you knew these numbers. I don't even know if my audience knows these numbers, but 1 out of 2 chiropractors fall out of chiropractic after 5 years of service.
Wow.
So we need to do a better job of making high self-esteem in the chiropractic profession to where the chiropractic doesn't become despondent and leave the profession. So we need to really support our brothers and sisters in chiropractic to stay in the profession long term. And there's others talk that the chiropractor that stays in the next 2 years becomes despondent to the profession and doesn't give back. So if we can build this fellowship and leadership within Palmer Rugby, now we're building a support system, a unit of success and a nucleus that we can then, web out and build a stronger profession as a whole. And I know it all started at Palmer, Without Palmer and the hallways you walk through, we don't have a profession.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
So you walked through the hallways of a legacy, and now you have the honor of saying, I'm a Palmer grad.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been all around the world, and everybody that I've ever met says Palmer has the best adjusters out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it all starts at the fountainhead.
So I know we're coming up on the edge of our conversation today. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you'd like to touch on for us today?
Off the top of my head, no. The biggest thing was just making sure, again, networking.
Here's one, scholarships.
Yes.
How did Palmer Rugby help you with a scholarship opportunity, and how are you seeing that helping you right now?
Honestly, starting as a Palmer rugger, I had no prior experience. So it was very awesome to come into a program where they not only taught you the game at a pretty fast pace, but you also had the money or the opportunity to earn money towards your tuition, in the way of these scholarships. And, by the time that I was a graduate, Palmer Rugby really was helping take some of the sting out of those student loan debts that we all are all too familiar with. So it's an awesome program and a great way to help out, students that are going through the curriculum.
So my call to action is if you guys know a great student athlete that might not be trained in rugby that wants to go on to become a doctor and get the scholarship opportunity to perform at a high level and become a chiropractor and have the support of the chiropractic family from Palmer, think about sending them to the portal, which will be we'll post that in the comments. But think about sending your qualified student athlete to become a chiropractor so they can get a scholarship and take some of the sting out of their student loans and to make their payback a little bit easier. Well, Kaci, thank you for supporting what we are doing with the interview processes to get more awareness for the athletic symposium that's sponsored by Palmer Rugby. That is the 13th and 14th of April back at the Fountainhead. And with all the dynamic speakers, 2 games of rugby being played, and the big banquet dinner and all the fellowship and the sisterhood and brotherhood out there. And thank you for being a positive voice for the women chiropractor.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Jim, for doing this and putting it all together.
Well, it comes with an amount of love and passion. And I absolutely love the profession of chiropractic, and I see it as the future for healthcare. And I see the chiropractor as the great bastion for the savior of our healthcare crisis that we're in right now. And I think that we just need to step up with higher self-esteem and support each other more. And we need to be more vocal, and we need to share the story. If I've heard one thing over and over and over again, it's share the story.
Yes.
And I think there's so many times where I share your story today that somebody might take one thing from you and learn. Or tomorrow, the next interview, the next one. You're going to watch it now and be more supportive. And there might be something that you watch in somebody and you might learn. So my big idea to everybody is just keep on sharing the story. And just let everybody know today's episode Over That Shoulder is brought to us by Local Gold. And they are your guys' internet solutions for, web design and driving you guys to the first page of Google. So thank you, Kaci. Have a great day out there in Pennsylvania. And I will sail away for the rest of the weekend out here in the Grand Valley of Grand Junction and the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives.
Awesome. Thanks, Jim.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.